Our joy was short-lived. You did, Leo. We just finished it. It's okay. I'm gonna stream it on YouTube tomorrow night. So probably around 4:30 Eastern. You don't have to do that, Leo. It's okay. I don't mind it. I really don't. You can send it to me some other time. Don't feel like you have to do it. Honestly, it's kind of funny. Because I've had multiple people point it out. They're like, what the hell? I kind of like it being there because of that. It's cool how some of the enemies explode into other balls. His power-ups are worth a lot of points. This is a really awesome version of Arkanoid. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I've already confirmed my version works perfectly fine. It's just that one bonus stage glitch. And I'm okay with that for now. What does the M do? If anybody knows what the M does, let me know. Nice. That's cool. Round 10. Apparently we have 89 more to go. Oh, nice. M goes all the way through objects. Wow. I guess it goes through just regular blocks, not the... Well, sometimes it goes through the gold ones. Maybe it has to hit them on the edge or something. Boss time, I think. Jeez, he comes right at me. I actually have Wizorb. I haven't gotten very far in it, but I do like it. I never heard of the other one you're talking about. I really like Shatter. And, back in the early 2000s, I also really liked, man, what the hell was it called? It was a really cool one. It was a budget game. Yeah, I totally forgot what it was called. I have it on my Windows 98 machine, actually. Strikey Sister is by the Botvice dev. Oh, nice. I'll have to check that out. I need to go back to Botvice as well. Nice. Hell yeah. It is Ricochet. Yeah. Mine is like Ricochet Extreme or something. I really like that one. It's got some cool music and great graphics. Fast gameplay. Whoa, that was a weird bounce. Shit, why did I do that? Yeah, it's a good question, Zacho. I mean, I know it's just true to the original Arkanoid arcade game. Because that game didn't have music in-game. No, I don't think it was on 360. It might have been on the original Xbox. I know there were a couple of other budget games I played on PC back in the day that got Xbox ports. Like OG Xbox ports. Wick and the Fable of Souls. It was an Xbox Live Arcade game before Xbox 360 was a thing. Xbox Live version 1.0, which I never really got to use. Oh, look at that. They form new blocks. I like that power up. You can just skip to the next level. But you lose the points. So if you're trying to score, not that great. I wonder if those can hurt me. No. Okay, I didn't think so. Sensory overload. Too much sound. Stop it. Stop it. Alright, level 18. Oh, I missed it. I think that was an extra life. Damn it. Because my mouse or my mouse is a little stuttery. It's affecting my movement. Oh, nice. It's basically like a shield, a drain shield. Boss time? Oh, no boss. Interesting. So they gave me one at level 10, but not level 20. Oh, crazy bounce. That sucked. Yeah, those great blocks, they take too many hits. No, not gonna work. Wait, what just... Was I focused on the wrong part? I think my ball got captured and I wasn't paying attention to it. And it just got dropped into the drain. Yeah, right, Leo? It would have been great. I don't know if I get any continues in this. Pretty sure the original Arkanoid PC game, you didn't get any continues. So level 22 is a boss. It's like these bosses are just sort of random. Oh! He gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I got an extra life. Oh, man. Oh, there's no audio yet. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I'm not going to try it out then. I'm going to wait until it's further along. I was going to update my MiSTer, but if it has no audio, I'm probably not going to mess with it. Maybe I'll just watch some video of it. Yeah, I'm super stoked about the Lynx core, man. That was really, like, the only reason I wanted an analog pocket is, there's supposed to be Lynx support eventually. But now that I'll be able to do it on my MiSTer, I have no reason to buy that. Oh, Lynx's audio was added? Hey, Sasha, what's going on? Okay, maybe I will update the MiSTer then. Try it out. Have to go get a full ROM set though. Mine is just a partial set and it's super out of date. Like 20 years out of date. I should have got that T actually. Links is for Patreon supporters for now. Oh, well shit. I thought that it was, I thought it was added to non-patrons. I don't know. I'll double check it. Ooh, slow down. This game needs an SA1 patch. Right away. We must eradicate all slowdown on the Super Nintendo. Here we go. I thought there was a Neo Geo Pocket core Or at least one in the works. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Aww. Okay, that works. Sasha is the Mr. Man. Maybe he can tell us. Damn, that's tough. Hey, at least the blocks don't reappear. Okay, this stage sucks. You've not heard of a Neo Geo Pocket Core being worked on. You'd like one as well. Yeah, for some reason I thought, like... I don't know, I must have heard of something else then. Let's see. No, I guess apparently not. Leo tried to pre-order a Pocket and failed. I don't know if he's going to try again. Well, I guess for me personally then, after Lynx, I would want a Neo Geo Pocket and a WonderSwan core. I am very curious to know if PlayStation and Saturn are going to even be fully doable. Very, very interested. K-Dogs! Yeah, there is Uber Disco. Hey, K-Dogs, what's going on? Yeah, all 96 exits. Yep, yep. Round 30. Come on. There we go. No. Alright, sweet. Just got home from work. Nice. Bye. Are you leaving? Are you saying bye to something else? You're not? Okay. I was confused. Oh, gotcha. Damn slimy. Oh my god. Reflexes required in an Arkanoid game. Oh no, no, don't do this to me. Oh, you reversed my controls too. You bastard. Oh, it's so disorienting. It's crazy. Hey, Patchouli. No, I'm playing on the MiSTer Uber Disco. So I'm using a modern PC mouse. Moai Dark Wizard? Is that a normal thing? Yeah, remember, I've got nothing else that can run SA1 hacks, so... Yep, we're in the MiSTer. It's also why the video quality looks so sharp. We must not give up. Our quest will continue. Do 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 do. Nice. I still haven't used it, Leo, so I can't vouch for it. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. It's just a basic optical mouse. And if I'm still awake after this, I'll have to play the fly swatting game. I've been tired like crazy. I could pass out any moment. But I want to try to get through this. Or get as far as I can anyway. I mean, you got a very limited amount of lives. And I still don't know if you can continue. Yeah, Venom Lace yesterday was telling me this has 99 levels. Oh, come on, dude. Is it possible to get a soft lock pattern? I don't think so. If something like that happens, I think the ball is programmed to change direction to fix it. I just want to play some Bust-A-Move. Doesn't use the mouse, but I still want to play it. Although in that case, I could just play the Neo Geo core. Oh, goddamn! I keep getting caught off guard by those transporter things. Ah. Running out of lives quickly. Oh, I missed it. Shoot it up. Shoot it up. Nope. Nice. I'll take that. do, 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 do. Gotta get those blocks. That was a warp zone I could have taken. But I chose not to because I want the points. You get extra lives from points, pretty sure. Nice. Good shot. Cool. Hey, Patchouli. Kitty's meowing at me. All right, round 40. Alright, let's just take it. Take the freebie. Sweet. Level 42. Only. Jeez. This game's very stingy on extra lives, so I don't even know if we're gonna make it. Have you, Sasha, played much of this version? I know you like your classic 80s arcade games. Nice. Not this version, you play the 2GS version. Oh, nice. Yeah, this one's really good. I grew up with the MS-DOS version. Ah, same boss again, huh? Was not expecting that. Wonder if anything's different. Oh, lucky. Link to the Past, yeah. This version seems to be shooting more. Yeah, I remember seeing the ST version. I think I might have even had it on the, when I had my ST. I remember some of those Taito ports being pretty decent on that. I didn't have a mouse, though, so I couldn't really work it. Yeah, as far as the shooting, like, if you're talking the laser power-up, I mean, that's pretty common for the original Arkanoid as well. There's a lot of shooting in that, too. You just have to be able to keep your power up. Extra life. Extra life. Yeah, those gray P icons, you want to pick them up at all costs. A Striker DC? Yeah, I don't like it. I didn't like it at all. Not for the price. They're like 45 bucks. It's not worth it. I have a review of it on my website, UberDisco, if you just want to see my thoughts. Just gameplayandtalk.com. It'll be right there in the front page. Because I don't have that many articles. Like, there are some things where I think it was fine. There were other things where I thought it was really bad. Ultimately, it's analog stick. Not nearly as smooth as the original Dreamcast stick. Much less range of motion, which is really bad for certain games. For other games, it doesn't matter that much. But like, I had played tried playing Tokyo Extreme Racer with it, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't finesse my steering. Its analog triggers also don't have nearly as much range. So if you want to try to like hold a trigger like halfway down, you know, say you're trying to go around a turn in a racing game, right? And you want to just let off the gas just lightly. Well, it's really, really difficult to do that on that controller. It's either all or nothing, you know? So, like, what's the point of analog triggers? Should have just made analog buttons, if they're gonna be like that. Not analog buttons, but, you know, just standard buttons. I have a lot of complaints. Yeah, they're all in that review. I was not happy with it, but if you pay 30 bucks for it, it's an easier pill to swallow. But I had to pay like 45 for it when I bought it. Yeah, it's just the site article. I need to try to get another article up sometime soon. I have a couple of ideas, but maybe what I'm gonna start doing is start like reviewing the games I Let's Play, and then just post a Let's Play video at the bottom of the article. It's not a bad idea. I'm so damn tired right now. 51 levels to go. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you should have got those cables instead, dude. Seriously. Yeah, I think... yeah, I don't know, man. It's, if you're looking for something that, like, has a smoother analog stick than the original Dreamcast controller... Not just that, but, like, a stick that works even just as well as the original Dreamcast controller, it doesn't. You know, you're gonna be disappointed in that regard. I don't know. Everything about it to me just felt cheaper than the official controller. Yet it cost twice as much. You know, I'm very much of the mindset that you want to go first party with everything that you can, because with pretty much every system, first party controllers have been, well, let's say every system post NES. First party controllers have been the best controllers. I unfortunately can't say the same for the Master System or the 7800. You know what, let's start from the 16-bit era. From the 16-bit era on, you should probably just use the first-party controllers. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh shit, the 7800's joystick is garbage. The Master System's D-pad is terrible. Man, we're up to 7 lives. That's crazy. Yeah, Coleco's is not great. I mean, in television... I mean, I'd even argue, like, the CX-40, Atari 2600 stock stick is not that great either. You know, going back to it in this day and age, it's just super hard on my hands. Extremely uncomfortable. I keep feeling like I got something in my eye. It's probably just a cat hair. Yeah, don't get me wrong, like I like experimenting with third-party controllers because there are some really solid options. It is an interesting topic to me. But what annoys me a lot is modern third-party controllers. I should say modern third-party controllers for retro systems is what really bothers me. Is they all just come off as, you know, compromised in their design in some way or another, and they're not quality replacements for the original stuff, you know? There are so many old controllers floating around that are first party that it's not hard to find a good, solid working one that's gonna last a long time. And when I see stuff like the Brawler controllers, not the Brawler, but the Retro Fighters controllers, Everyone hypes them up, but it's like, they're not that good. Especially for the price, you know? I mean, the Dreamcast one in particular, I was very disappointed by. It was easier to stomach the brawler because the analog controls seem to work a little bit better on it. I think it's just because N64 games usually don't have as... They're not as smooth of experiences typically as Dreamcast games are, you know? N64 games are very rarely even 30 FPS. You know, F-Zero X aside. But I did think their N64 stick worked a little bit better on that system. Whereas their Dreamcast stick, it might even be the exact same design, just wasn't as better. It wasn't as well suited to Dreamcast games. And on the N64, you don't use the D-pad all that much, so it's issues with like diagonals and stuff like that. Not as big of a deal. Because you're not playing a lot of 2D games on the system. Or if you are, it's like, it's just games with 4 directions, like you're playing a puzzle game or something. Or Mischief Makers. Dreamcast, on the other hand, has a lot more 2D games. Especially once you get into the import side of things. You know, you're playing a lot of shmups and things like that. I'm tripping over my mouse cord. Yeah, I heard those modern 8-bit Do controllers, Leo, are pretty solid. I know you guys have talked about the M30 a lot. I probably won't buy one anytime soon, because I just really I don't have a need for it right now. I'm not trying to buy stuff like that I really just don't need. But one day down the road, I'd like to give it a try. Like for my MiSTer, I've got the PS1 Classic wired controller. I've got my Genesis 6-button wired controller. I've got the Saturn wired controller and a wireless version of it. I've got my, you know, expensive arcade sticks. So it's like I'm pretty much good there. And I bought, you know, controller adapters for other systems if I really wanted to use them. And then for everything else, I just use first-party controllers, like if I'm using original hardware. So... Shame we have to fight the same bosses again. I was hoping they'd have different patterns or just have different bosses altogether. Oh, lucky. Nice. 8 lives. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dreamcast, I was very heavy on the racing games on that, too. I played a lot. Did I say, I think I said M30 earlier. I think maybe SN30 is what you meant. Blue, blue. I keep picking up those power-ups because it's extra points. You get like 1,000 points for each power-up. And I feel like certain power-ups are worth more than others, because earlier I was getting a lot more points for picking up multiple lasers back-to-back. Come on, shoot it up. Oh, it is M30, yeah. There's SN30 and M30. Gotcha. There's an N32. Oh, great. Can't believe I'm up to 10 lives. Whew, lucky. What, Leo? You haven't done 1,000 barrel rolls in Star Fox? What is wrong with you? I think this is a Darius ship. It sort of looks like one. Ban him! It's a pineapple. It's a space pineapple. Oh, I'm glad I played out that level. I got another extra life. Nice. The ping pong sound effects. I'm sorry, man. I hope you're enjoying it at least. Might actually regret picking up that extra life. Think about it this way, Zacho. Only 36 more stages of this. Not very good at aiming right with this wide ship. Yeah, hacking some music, Zacho, right? Ha ha ha. Oh! Thankfully all the blocks don't come back. Nice. Yeah, definitely one of the worst stages so far. It's nice, he doesn't actually attack when, Oh, you gotta be kidding me. He goes all the way across the screen? He doesn't attack when the screen's upside down. Hey, Patchouli. I didn't realize you jumped down. Welcome back. Shit, man, I did it again. Got distracted by a cat. It seems to track you a little bit. Wow, that gave me 2 extra lives. Oh, she was a distraction cat, alright. I heard this thump. I'm like, what the f— And it was her jumping onto her cat bed right next to me. It's right here, right next to me. And she was up just staring at me. I'm like, no, this is a bad time. Bad time. She's a happy kitty, though. You're so soft, Patchouli. I could pet her all day. Good girl. Yeah. It always does. Well, I got a lot farther than I expected to, so we'll see if we can finish this out. Keeps hoaxing us, man. Thanks, Mario. Wait, what? Did we beat the game? Or is this a fake out? I heard that this has 99 levels. Unless it tosses me right back in afterwards. It might be, Zacho. This might be like your first ending, then you'll get the real ending after level 99. Was this really 97? Okay, no, there is more. Okay, I was gonna say. I was just about to look it up online. Okay, so there is more. That's crazy. It is 99. Okay, thanks, Sasha. I mean, that's what I was told yesterday. I was told it was 99. Imagine how many people, like, quit the game after that credit sequence. Oh yeah, I beat the game! No, you didn't beat the game. You thought you beat the game, but you were wrong. Don't! Is this game really 1997? It feels like that's a ridiculously late Super Nintendo release. I thought it was a lot earlier than that. It's one of the last Western releases. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was that late. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it in Nintendo Power back in the day. It got some coverage, and I always saw copies out in the wild, and for some reason I had thought it came out much earlier, but... Yeah, this is a really obnoxious level. Go up, go up. Up, 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 up! Not down, you bastard! Oh! I almost lost it. I didn't have a choice there. It'd be amazing if you could still laser your way through it, but it takes like 100 shots. I'd be okay with that. Missed it. See you, Leo. I'm probably gonna be gone when you get back. But yeah, tomorrow afternoon I'm gonna do Mario World on YouTube. So I hope to see you there. Hopefully I get a laser here. These gray blocks take so many hits. I'll take those extra lives though. Yeah, very few power-ups in this level. By the way, 28 levels to go. Still making progress. Oh, man. Man, it's been so long since I played the first Arkanoid, but I feel like I recognize a lot of these levels. Like they might be taken straight from that game. The arcade Arkanoid was only 32 levels. Yeah, I thought it was a lot shorter. What about the sequel? Do you know much about that? Revenge of Dough. Revenge of Dough! Okay, yeah, in Revenge of Dough, from the beginning, you can go either left or right. I guess that's why you only play 32 levels out of 64. It depends on what path you take. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't saying, Sasha, that I recognize all these levels, because obviously this has more levels than the first game, but I am recognizing some. It's like, I feel like they brought back some of the old levels for this game. Which, I mean, actually, some of them I actually already know they have, like the Space Invaders level, that was from the original game. Yeah, some of these more recent stages, though, have seemed oddly familiar. And now I'm gonna have to bust out the arcade versions, because if they're only 32 levels, then I really want to play through them. Although they're probably a lot more difficult. I bet you the ball gets a lot faster. I feel like your controls are probably more responsive in the arcade, though. With an original spinner. The Super Nintendo mouse is not the smoothest thing. Well, I should say the MiSTer replication of the Super Nintendo mouse is not the smoothest thing. I think it's just replicating the mouse how it, you know, normally was. Same inputs. Probably same input rate. More and faster they get to the bottom to interfere. Yeah, that'll definitely screw you up. I have a Super Nintendo mouse, Zach. I'm just playing on the MiSTer. I had actually thought about playing the actual Super Nintendo with the Super Nintendo mouse, but it's a lot more convenient to just play through the MiSTer. Since it's already hooked up. Less input lag too, since I won't be going through the upscaler. Oh wow, lucky. Yeah, exactly. The shoulder buttons are pointless. They should have just went with the 6-button layout. But yeah, thanks, man. If you ever know of anyone that's thinking about buying the controllers and they want like a solid review on it, like just, you know, point them to my article. But more importantly, let me know what you think of it when you get it. Spend some time with it. Play some fighting games, play some shmups, play some driving games. First-person shooters aren't going to matter that much, because most of them don't run all that smooth. Oh, it's 2 extra lives I missed. I mean, at this rate, I might not need them, but still. Yeah, there's probably not Uber Disco. They're probably all the same. I don't think they've been out long enough for there to really be major differences. But yeah, let me know what you think regardless. If there is a difference, I'd be interested to know. Oops. Oh, I did not. I pressed the right mouse button by accident. That's where the positives end. Yeah, I hate to say it, man. I really wanted it to be great. I mean, like I said, I paid 45 bucks for it, so my expectations were high. It's like I'd much rather use an original Dreamcast controller that works well, that costs 15 or 20, you know? Shit, for 45 bucks I can probably buy a new in-box original Dreamcast controller. Maybe even less. So like, when I can do that, why am I paying $45 for a third-party version that doesn't do anything as well as the original controller does? It's just a waste of money, you know? I don't like supporting businesses like that. Because not only do I feel like, you know, dissatisfied with my purchase, I feel ripped off almost in a way. Like, man, why did I support this? I was really hoping for something, you know, that was going to be knocked out of the park. See, now I'm being really negative about it, and you had just bought it, so I'm going to shut up. I want you to try it. Spend some time. I spent like 6 or 7 hours with it in one sitting. I played a ton of different games with it, and by the end of the sitting, I had gotten used to some of its quirks, like the inaccurate D-pad, for instance, right? But yeah. I ended up just trading it back into Starland. I think I probably only got like 20 bucks for it or something. I mean, again, like I said, I have since bought the Brawler controller for the N64. Because I haven't found a single third-party N64 replacement stick option yet that's been worth a damn compared to the original first-party design. But the Brawler controller was definitely better than any of the other options I tried. And it cost $15 less than the Striker DC controller. So, for that price, I was like, okay, this is I don't think it's like the runaway success that a lot of people make that controller out to be, but it's also still better than I think other third-party options at the moment. And probably will always be, because no one seems to want to do a good job with, you know, N64 controllers. This is hurting my eyes. This is so fast. I'm so tired, and this is so fast. Oh, thank you. Jeez. Yeah. The Retrobit one is styled after the Hori Mini. But its analog stick is way too sensitive. Like, yeah, its analog stick was way too sensitive. And then obviously its D-pad is in a terrible position, so you're not going to use it for certain games. It's not very usable, I should say. You know, and I did say earlier that, like, oh, you know, the bad D-pad on the Striker, not the Striker, but the Brawler, isn't really a huge deal. At least it's positioned in a logical place, you know, so you might get used to it. It's still not good. Oh, look, Taito logo. Not really logo, but it says Taito. The Brawler had some of the same issues that my, you know, Striker DC had, but there were some other things that I did like more about the controller. I actually meant to do a review of the Brawler. I never got around to it. I took photos of it. I need to actually bust it out, have another night with it, and then do another review. Just to get myself back up to speed. Oh, nice. This kills those guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm not, like, complimenting the Hori controller, because I've never used one on the N64. But it was definitely a questionable design choice to replicate that controller specifically. You know, I would have let that slide if the analog stick wasn't so sensitive. And it's not that it's sensitive, it's that there's not, so I hate trying to explain this stuff because I'm terrible at it, but you know, as you slowly push an analog stick in one direction, there's supposed to be like a wide range of motion that's registered. But cheap third-party analog sticks have a tendency of either being like completely off, somewhere in the middle, and then completely on. Like, there's very little in between, but you need that in between those three states to really have fine-tuned control over things like racing games, first-person shooters, stuff like that. And the Retrobit controller gets it completely wrong. It's like 0 to 100 with just like barely you know, a touch of the stick. It's extremely difficult to finesse with it, which defeats the entire purpose of an analog stick. The game, you know, all those N64 games were designed around the original N64 analog's tension. and analog range, as I'll call it. And these third parties just don't get it right. And thus the games are a lot less enjoyable to play because they're a lot less controllable. That's one of the beautiful things about N64 in general is because of the way that its analog stick was designed, games were designed to play a very specific way with that controller. And if you don't get the analog stick part right, then a lot of games just are not going to feel right, period. That's why I try to implore people to stop investing in these third-party options and just pay up for a good, known, working N64 controller. I have like 3 myself, I think. And I don't like shake them around like crazy like people do when they're playing Mario Party, so like my sticks have lasted a long time. And I foresee them lasting, you know, continue lasting a very long time. Instead of trying to experiment with these crappy third-party options, I just don't get it. You're better off just paying up for good controllers, buy multiples, keep them safe, and then just roll with that for the rest of your life, you know? I'm tired of throwing away money on these third-party options that just can't replicate the experience right. We're up to 14 lives now. Round 85, by the way. We're getting there. Alright, get me the hell out of here. Alright, what's the gimmick on this level? This looks way too easy. The gimmick is that you're so burned out by this point that you're probably still gonna fail, even though there are only 6 blocks to hit. Wow. That seems like a level that should have been, like, level 2. Not level 86. Oh, well, I got lucky with that. I got the hard part out of the way. I'm gonna take it. Rubber contacts. Yeah, I've never heard about the rubber contacts breaking. I've heard of the plastic pieces underneath the D-pads breaking, though, on early designs, if you apply too much pressure. I've never heard of the rubber domes breaking, though. Not on the new Retrobit controllers, I mean. Yeah, I know Aqua's had his Saturn controller break. The plastic inside broke. I think he's had multiples break. Thankfully, I haven't had that problem yet. Hey, Cafe Man. Well, you stopped in at a good time. We're getting close to finishing Arkanoid. Do it again. I heard that it wasn't necessarily a wired or wireless thing, Uber Disco. It was a, the early ones in general had the problems, and then they supposedly addressed them and then fixed them. In terms of the, you know, the D-pad plastic backing plate breaking. So I don't, you know, like we were talking about on Discord, the Saturn controllers it's a two-piece D-pad design. You know, you've got the main front part that you put your thumb on, but then there's a back plastic piece it clicks into. Either it clicks into it or it's screwed into it. It depends. I think the Retrobit ones are like some of the Model 2 pads where they're just like clicked in. They're not actually screwed in. And if you push too hard, that back piece inside the controller that actually makes contact with the rubber domes, I think that part breaks. That plastic breaks. Oh, man. There we go. Yeah, by the way, what I'm saying about their controllers too, like in terms of which versions have been fixed and whatever, that came straight from a Retrobit rep on the Shmups forum. They used to post in the Shmups forum, and for some reason they've stopped. One issue I have had hasn't been related to like the physical design, but you know, it's electronics. My wireless controller does not want to hold a charge to save its life for more than like a day. If I let it sit for more than a day, maybe two, it no longer functions. I have to like recharge it all over again. But it's fine if I, you know, I charge it all the way and then use it immediately. But if I don't use it, and it's not charging, when I go back to it a day or two later, it's like, it's unusable. I have to recharge it. So, like, it doesn't hold a charge if it's not being used. And there's a couple people in the Shmups forum that have the exact same problem. And that's one reason why I never use it. I love the controller, because it feels really good. It's a great replication of the Saturn design. Because apparently they're using the original molds and everything. I think they bought the original molds off Sega, so... like, it's a legit awesome controller, but... that charge issue is a big problem. It keeps me from busting it out. I just use the wired controller instead. I'd love to be able to use the wireless controller, though, but... having to keep on top of charging it all the time is just kind of annoying. Oh. My paddle lagged trying to get back over. Gee, 16 lives. That's crazy. I was not expecting to get so many lives. Based on how the early game went. Alright guys, 8 more stages to go. If the game lets us. Go up, 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 up. You know, you bastard! Oh, nice, Sasha. I wonder if I think there's a Japanese PS1 version of Arkanoid. I wonder if it supports the Negcon or the mouse. Oh, Jesus, thank you, finally. Took long enough. There we go. If you ever do, let me know how it controls. Shit, man, I lost my laser. Yes, please. I will take that. Do 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 do. It's like it's mocking me now. It's like, aren't you ready? Aren't you ready to go to sleep by now? Yeah, oh yeah you are. But you're not done yet. Ha ha ha. Barely any decent power-ups. Look at this grind. Oh, they asked $28 for the Japanese controller add-on? Yeah, they probably won't get it anytime soon, knowing them. They haven't been getting a lot of import stuff, unfortunately. That seems to be dying down. Although they did get a Japanese Wii House of the Dead not 1, but House of the Dead 2 and 3 light gun bundle. It's kind of expensive though. I wouldn't mind having it because I have a Japanese Wii U. I would like some more Japanese games for it. Kiki's sleeping in your lap, hell yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah, Patchouli's a lap cat too, 100%. Oh, come on, man. Ah, jeez. I wish I had a laser so I could shoot these things. Yeah, this isn't tedious or anything. Not at all. Not at all. Oh, my hand's getting worn out. God, I think they take 5 hits now. It's crazy. Yeah, they really want to make you work on these last few levels. I actually wonder how my eyes would be doing if I was playing this on my CRT. I don't usually use the MiSTer on my HD screen because too many games have resolution switches and it drops signal on my capture card and plays, you know, wreaks havoc on it. I do think a CRT is easier on your eyes, especially when you're tired like this. Yeah, I'd rather have the catch. I have more control. Sacrifice another extra life. I think having control here is more important, though. You could have used that laser earlier. Nice. Alright, guys. 96. Is that like a palm tree? And water? And a beach? Could just imagine myself sitting underneath that palm tree, sipping some margaritas. Oh, come on, man. No, the final level's probably gonna be a boss fight. I still have to do the arm boss again. I guess you fight each boss 3 times. My guess is that's gonna be the final level. I gotta say these last few levels are kind of boring. They're not, I mean, some of them really aren't that hard. I was expecting the difficulty to rise significantly. It's like I just get catch, I just target specific blocks. Yeah, some games that have a lot of levels like this, they kind of fizzle out. Like the difficulty curve sometimes is not all that smooth. Oh, wrong way. Ah, finally. Oh, no. It's gonna take forever, I can already tell. Well, it depends, Cafe Man. It depends on what part of the game you're at. Right now, they take like 4 or 5. Earlier on, they only take about 2, sometimes 3. I am taking my headphones off. Zaka was mentioning this earlier. I thought the ball was supposed to correct itself after a while. Oh, that was so convenient. Yeah, it's a shame there are only 3 bosses in the game. They regurgitate the same first 3 bosses 3 times, you know? Would have been awesome if there were 9 total different bosses. And the bosses don't really change either. That's the thing. Yeah, and when it rotates, it reverses your controls too. Oh, come on, he still hit me? You can get that first rotate. He just rotates after a certain amount of hits. You can get that first rotate really fast. It's like a freebie. Yep, again. Dude, why didn't you go? His arms are supposed to target me. Unless it's like reading my inputs and it was targeting where my paddle was going to move to. Alright. That was garbage. I couldn't do anything about that. Yeah, his arms always seem to switch sides. Like the attacking arms always switches sides. That's pretty easy to follow. Couldn't do anything about that. It's either I get punched or I lose my ball. One of the two things. One of the two. Yeah, don't jinx me, Zacho. I've already lost half of them. Yeah, if you can get the ball caught like that, it's really good. This third phase seems like his arms seem a lot faster. Dude, come on. I fucking hate these reverse controls. And it's like my mouse sensitivity, it gets more sensitive when I'm upside down. Or at least it feels that way. It could just be in my mind. No, I'm not doing that. Definitely not doing that. It's just the way the ball is bouncing. I'm not getting good bounces. Like, I have to position myself a specific way to avoid the arms. But the ball is just ending up in positions that is not benefiting me at all. It's putting me in bad positions. Like, this is good right here. I don't have to really do anything. I just kind of wait. Dude, what the hell, man? Why is he doing that? I think he, like, locks into a position where you currently are. And you can move out of the way and he'll still go into that position that he had initially decided on. So you need to bait his arms into very particular directions. Wow, he's gonna rotate again? Jeez. Okay, there we go. We're close. Yes. Okay. Lasers. My mouse fucked up. It's like it just twitched over too fast. My hands are sweating like crazy. I had to move to try to hit the ball. I should have just waited because it might have actually bounced up, but I wasn't sure. I can't believe I messed up. We had the boss. We had him at the very end, and I just screwed up. My mouse twitched, and I lost the ball.